Hey, we're Bob Moses, and
And
we're
we're
here
here chatting
chatting
with
with
Milky.
Milky.
Congratulations on a great body of work with the Silence in Between. I mean, such a great title, such a great song. But you guys started working on the album after quite an intense period. It was COVID times, you were dealing with loss, becoming a father, parental divorce. How do you think that songwriting and creating this album in particular helps you process and navigate the things going on in your own world?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, music has always been a very cathartic thing for us, and it's a way for us to sort of write about what's been going on in our personal lives. And so, during the pandemic, when everything was stripped away, when we didn't know if we were going to be able to continue to tour, if music was going to continue to be our careers, there's a lot of uncertainty. But we realized that throughout all that music is our life raft, and the one thing that Tom and I love to do sort of more than anything. So we use that as sort of a place to anchor us through any sort of turmoil that was going on in the world and our personal lives. And it was really a great outlet to have, and has always been. Music's been an amazing outlet to have throughout our whole lives, but I think it just proved especially vital during the last 2 years.
So there is this kind of like duality to the record. It's kind of laced with these lighter and darker shades and this real driving, honest tone lyrically that is juxtaposed by your booming soundscapes that kind of weave together like electronic, house, and pop. How do you think those elements together create a listening experience that people who play the record can connect and resonate with?
That's a good question. I think that it's kind of just that's sort of like what we always try to do. We try to find a bit of a balance. I think that if the lyrics are a bit dark or introspective, we like to kind of make the tracks hopeful and immersive. And I also think that all the sounds that we make and the sort of soundscapes that we are interested in and try to convey are big and expansive and deep. And that's kind of just because that's how we feel like that's the best complement to deep lyrics, and adds depth to the lyrics and allow people to kind of get lost in the sound and lost in the words. And we've always really loved music that is that sort of full total experience. And I think so I think it creates a great listening experience. And also, like, I think lots of great records, like, you can go listen to them tons and tons of times, and even after you listen to them 100 times, you can kind of always hear something new. Like, we've always really felt that way about Radiohead, for example. So I think that that's kind of part of the goal of why we like to make things so immersive. And it's also just kind of naturally what we do based upon like our influences and all that stuff.
Now, 2022 is also the 10th anniversary of the release of your debut EP, Hands to Hold, which is a pretty massive milestone. Looking back, like all these years ago, how do you think the way you approach creating music has evolved, like especially when comparing to the songs present on The Silence in Between?
I think the way that it's evolved is that it's like I think we've learned not to sweat the small stuff that much. Like, along the way, you kind of like get better at self-editing and better at the only thing is that sort of provides any sense of relief when you're working on music is that knowing that you've been down that road before. And that you will finish it, good ideas will come, hopefully. And because every time you start a record, or you go like, okay, now the old record, what we were working on before is now done, new stuff, there's always just sort of a sense, at least for me anyways, of will we get another good idea be able to happen? Like, are we going to be able to finish? So it's like, there's a tremendous sense of sort of love into wanting to write, also coupled with this like anxious feeling of, at the end, it has to amount to something. So I think everything that you've done in the past helps inform what you're going to do. And I think that's the same with influences and just having the experience, of being a band now for 10 years. There's not, obviously we encounter new things all the time and are constantly surprised and encounter new challenges. But I think the core of what we are as a band and the core of who we are as people, we feel pretty confident with where we're at. And Tom and I's personal relationship and our collaborative relationship is the best it's ever been. And so I think, all that's great.
And so which three songs of the album would you play to someone who had like never heard your music to make them an instant diehard fan?
Well,
great question.
That is a good question. I think that we'd play them Never Ending, because that's kind of classic Bob Moses
Yes.
with a twist. I think we'd play them Love Brand New, because that's kind of like the most immediate track on the record. And I think we would play them. Jimmy, you want to say one?
I might go with Broken Belief, just because
Yeah, nice.
I feel like that's the one that Tom like got the first two, and then it's like, here's what you're gonna get when you get into the the weeds of it, deep in the record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's shows how we can kind of give a twist. We're a multifaceted act.
yeah, I love it. And so is there any line or lyric from the album that you find at times will get stuck in your head, like the one that's kind of like gnawing away up there, or maybe like a line that you're most proud of?
Wow. Yeah. That's I mean, there's lots of like we really spend a lot of time with lyrics and a lot of time making them mean something, not only to us individually, but like to both of us. So like there's a lot of steps that happen in between the germ of a Bob Moses idea being like, oh, this is cool, we should finish this, to it like being something on the record.
Yeah.
And so by the time it's actually something that we've decided to finish, it has proved itself like so much to the both of us.
Yeah.
And on the spot, it's hard to think of, because like, we're very, it almost feels like when you're writing lyrics, you're like tapping into your subconscious, and you just feel lucky to get good ideas that like, really connect. And it's a lot of hard work. And there's obviously some really great lines in the record. Tom presented that song Broken Belief like with a pretty much finished verse. And I always just thought that idea of sort of like this prophet talking to you about how twisted the world is, and maybe these ideas and core beliefs that we have, and the systems that we've sort of trusted are sort of broken. I always thought that to be able to do that with such a short runway, I'm really proud of how like that turned out. And there's tons of examples of like little moments like that throughout the record. So it's really hard to pick just one, but I think just more of a general statement. I speak for both of us here. We're both really proud with like the message within all the songs and how concise and straightforward they are. I think in the past we've sort of, written lyrics that maybe aren't as direct, where now we feel very comfortable about talking about what the songs are about. And there's a very clear intention behind everything on this record. And I think that's something that was an artistic goal of ours on this record, and something we're both proud about.
You guys are also hitting the road, getting out there on tour, which is so exciting. What can audiences expect from this run of shows in 2022?
Well, they can expect a lot. It's kind of crazy. We've just been building our new show in the last few weeks, and we have 1 week of production rehearsals left before we head out. And it's been hard to choose all the songs, because it's like there's so much to choose from. We've kind of never been in this position before, where we're like, a lot of the new album we really want to play, and we feel like it's really strong. But also, since we've played last with our band, we put out the Desire EP, we put out Inner Light with Elderbrook, and so we've got a lot to choose from, and we haven't played all that stuff before. And then with also wanting to pepper in some of the older material, it's hard. So anyways, we're going to have a lot of sort of the best of Bob Moses, or what we feel is the best of Bob Moses. We're going to play a lot of the new record. We have a totally newly designed live light show and visual content, which is crazy, and is the most kind of big and furthest we've ever pushed that side of the show. So we're really excited about that. And then also what we've done is whenever we do any new songs with the band, we always make sure to like build really cool moments in between them. And so we've got some really cool sort of musical moments in the transitions between songs that we've been able to build, that are going to be very special and only ever happen live. So I think, a lot of great new material, an amazing new light and visual show, and then like some of these really special moments in between songs are all things that fans can look forward to. And we're really looking forward to playing, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. You guys will have to bring the show down to Australia sometime. And
Yeah,
so,
we will, I hope.
yeah, that'd be sick. But what impact do you think live music and performing has had on your career, and how important is it to you guys in terms of making that in-person connection with the audiences who relate and resonate with your music?
I mean, I would say apart from writing your own songs, it is up there as like the next most important thing. And we've always sort of had this ethos, like I guess it comes from a bit of a punk rock thing, just like get in the van and go and tour. And since we started, we've been, touring extensively throughout our career, and have played places we didn't even know existed, when we first started touring.
Awesome.
And so I think it's essential to who we are as people. It's essential to what our band's about. And for the last 2 years, we haven't been able to do too much of it. So it's amazing to get back out there.